Okay, here's a brand new codex. Or it would be if Games Workshop would send me one. The brand new Codex Thousand Sons is on pre-order right now. You can grab it using my link in the description. But also, there's a lot of units in here and a hell of a lot of changes. And there's only one way we can objectively tell you what are the best units in the book. And that's with the most original content on platform. It's a tier list, baby. We've got S, nerf me, basically in every list, by 3. We've got A, strong, by a couple, probably pretty good. B, it's all right. You're not going to do bad with one. C, super situational. And D, trash. Okay, I have all of the units ready. I also have all of the points. I'll be telling you how many points each unit's going to cost. As it stands right now, these are the points that are going to be public, but they might change between the time this video is filmed and the time that the points are published online. So without further ado, let's start ranking some units. Starting off with the man, the myth, the legend, it's Magnus the Red, who is going to start you out at 420 points. The most expensive unit in the book. Mostly the same to his old form in the index. However, instead of giving the army +1 to hit and win with psychic weapons within 6, he now gets +2 to cast on psychic rituals, which obviously the rituals, as I spoke about in my codex review, they're essentially psychic tests. So I'm going to put Magnus in A tier. He's very consistent in combat, synergizes with the codex and the abilities really, really well in every single detachment, but he can die, which is a bit cringe. Next up, we've got Ahriman. Full stop, not on disc, because he doesn't come on a disc. He can't choose not to come on a disc, sorry. He's 100 points now, our old Ahriman. Infantry mounted, which is quite fun. It means he can go through walls and he can get in rhinos, which is nice that he's got both keywords rather than just mounted. For example, the Zangor Enlightened are also on discs. They don't have infantry. He doesn't have any abilities that buff the unit he's attached to, but he does have a very strong redeploy 3 units. He's decent in shooting, D6 +1, strength 6, -1, D3 damage. At 100 points, he's okay. I think Ahriman is he's decent. Yeah, the ability's not that great, but he is only 100 points, which is why decent. If he's any more, it'd be situational. If he was even more than that, it'd be trash. Okay, next up, the Infernal Master, coming in at 85 points. Now, the Infernal Master gives a unit sustained hits. He also has the once per turn, changes hit roll, wound roll, or saving throw to an unmodified 6. He's got a decent psychic weapon at 18 inches, strength 6, -2, 1 damage. It's D6 or 2D6 if you overcharge it, which is nice. And he's obviously got the force weapon. Force weapons in this book are pretty much 6, -1, D3 damage. I think Infernal Master is pretty much a mainstay in most lists. Again, you don't need him, but I think he's a mainstay. I think he's up here, right? Taking a squad of rubrics, if you're going to attach a character to them, it is probably the Infernal Master. He's just a solid unit. He's very good. Okay, a Sorcerer next. So this is just a base Sorcerer that attaches to rubrics at 75 points. Gives out lethal hits. Doesn't give out sustain, gives out lethal instead. He does have once per battle in your shooting phase or fight phase. Improve the strength and attacks of psychic weapons by 3. You can get his force weapon up to 7 attacks at strength 9, or you can get his shooting weapon to strength 8. So he's alright. Lethal's good. We like lethal. I think he's decent. Sorcerer's fine. Again, good bait for an enhancement. I think that's what drops Ahriman as well. He is good, but without the enhancement, it's a bit annoying. I desperately need to open my window. It's so hot in here. It's hot thinking about these dust. Yeah, so I like the characters. I think we've got a few more characters to go through. I think some of these are a little bit better. Next up, we got the Exalted Sorcerer. This is the one on foot. Similar combat weapons. A lot of the combat weapons are basically the same. And he's got Astral Blast, strength 6, -2, D3 damage, which is a very nice shooting weapon. So it gives the unit he's attached to a 4+1, which is obviously going to be Rubric Marines. I'm going to say the Exalted Sorcerer is pretty situational, though. Okay, hear me out before you get mad. Now, obviously, a 4+ is better mathematically than a 5+, but you already have an invuln. So it's only increasing the invuln by 1 rather than like a completely new ability. Now, the Rebind Rubrici is an alright ability. There's lots of ways you can make him work. I don't think putting him in C tier makes him particularly bad, but a lot of his abilities are very situational, you know? Next up, Exalted Sorcerer on disc. I'm just going to cut to the chase. There he goes, right into S tier. Main ability is Illusion of Tzeentch while Small is leading the unit. You cannot be talking about range attacks unless you're within 18. And for a measly 100 points, you can have one of the most broken units in the game. For a measly 100, you can have this guy attached to Rubrics, which is pretty good, or Zangors, which is really good. We'll get on to Zangors very soon, but this guy tied in with Zangors is crazy good in my opinion. So that's the Exalted Sorcerer, definitely S tier, 100 points, S tier all day. Okay, next up we got the Demon Prince of Tzeentch. This is the one on foot. He's got his Hellforged weapons, which are all psychic with devastating wounds, especially if you run it with Exalt and the Bodyguard, etc. You're going to have like stealth, a 4+ invuln and stuff like that. There's a lot of ways you can stack it quite well. He's decent in combat. They're all psychic weapons, and there's loads of ways to buff psychic weapons in this list. Demon Prince on foot is probably decent, or even maybe strong. Maybe strong. Yeah, I think strong for the Demon Prince. Next up, the Demon Prince with wings this time. Obviously, moves 13 and only T9 rather than T10. Otherwise, identical in terms of weaponry. He has Hunter of Souls. Whenever he makes an attack that targets a character unit, reroll a hit roll of 1 and a wound roll. If the attack targets a psychic character model or character unit, reroll hits and wounds instead. And every time he destroys a character, regain D3 wounds. If it's a psychic character, regain 3 wounds instead. And a lot of people are just taking max bricks of something, banging a character in there. Cool, you got a really good unit. This guy's rerolling hits and wounds of 1 against most of those. Now, Ether Stride is pretty fun. Now, I think this will be corrected to 6 away currently. It says you can set up anywhere more than 6 away horizontally. The 6 inch is too situational. Yeah, there's not many times you need to deep strike 6 because you kind of want him in combat. I think probably better than a sorcerer. I think that. Winged Demon Prince top of B, Aram in middle, the sorcerer low B. Okay, next up, Sorcerer in Terminator armor. Now, this is a pretty good one. Now, I've run this guy with, like, max unit of Scarabs. I think you could probably, another unit that you could probably run on his own. He does give lethal hits to the units attached to, so if you are taking Scarabs, you probably want to take one of these guys as well. Not only can you give out Oath of Moment onto a unit, you can now give out +1 to hit. The fact that he's got Deep Strike is pretty tanky because he's got 2 up 4 with 5 wounds. He's only 85 points, and then you can give an enhancement as well. Yeah, I think he's like up here on strong because you don't need to take Scarabs with him. You can just drop him into the list and he works. All you need to do is shoot 18 inches. That's it. That's all you need him to do. Deep strike, shoot 18 inches. The rest of the army does the rest, you know? So next up, we've got Sekitar robots. So this is our brand new unit, the Sekitar. The ugliest unit, but brand new. 90 points, infiltrator stealth. Great abilities. There's no other infiltrating naturally. There's obviously Risen Rubricae, which is good. They have a bunch of shooting weapons. They've obviously got melters. They've got flamers. They've got the Hellfire missile racks. They're pretty tanky. It's toughness 6 with a 3+5+ with 4 wounds each. They're essentially like Thousand Sons obliterators, just not quite as good in my opinion. And obviously their ballistic skill is only 4. They're not amazing, I don't think. So I think they're decent. I think they're all right. In the right detachment, they become really strong. But overall as a unit, they're okay. So next up, we got Scarab Occult Terminators. They got a really good glow up. Obviously, they have naturally 3 wounds. They get 4 on the Sorcerer. We'll see the same with the Rubrics. They get an additional wound on the Sorcerer as well. They've got Cabal of the Sorcerer on that model, so they can cast rituals themselves. But whilst they've got a Psycho model in the unit, you are -1 to wound. Straight up. All the time. So good. They are 180 for 5 or 375 for 10. That isn't the cheapest unit in the army. Maybe they're strong. They're a really good staying power unit. So yeah, they're good. They're strong. They are strong. They're not crazy. They're just a bit expensive, I think. I think a lot of the Thousand Son units feel really good, but they are pricey. You just don't get a lot in the army. Probably going to be one of the cheapest armies to build just because everything's like 200 odd points every time you want to put it in the unit, in the army. We've got the Rubric Marines next. Now, they've had quite a glow up because of all their bolters, and obviously every bolter that we've not mentioned so far has additional AP. Everything's AP2. The Scarabs are AP2. The Soul Reapers are AP2. The Inferno Bolt Guns are AP2. They still have Bringers of Change, which is reroll wound rolls of 1. If you're on an objective, you reroll all wounds. And then now the Icon of Flame gives Ignore Cover. I think Rubrics are just decent. They're a mainstay of the army. You're going to have Rubrics in this army. You can't play them without it, really. I just think there's other things that are much better than Rubrics that need to go higher. So I'm going to put them in decent. They are just Space Marines, you know? They're Space Marines that invuln. They can also cast. They're not insane for that many points. We will get onto the insane, I think. You have to swap Scarabs and Rubrics. You think? The good damage in this army comes from psychic characters. Rubrics give them reroll wounds. Very true. Yeah, that's a good point. Think about the characters that can attach to units. The Rubrics not only gain from the characters gain from the Rubrics. I think overall I'm happy with that now. Yeah, I think thinking about Rubrics giving the characters buffs is really good. Scarabs are good but expensive. Okay, we've got Chaos Predator Destructor now. This is going to be our autocannon version. Now, I think this is pretty good. If you get hit by a psychic weapon, then you improve the strength and AP of attacks by this model. So it's going to be strength 10 -2, 3 damage, which is obviously really good. I don't know if you're going to see loads of Predators, to be honest, in like the meta game. I think they are good on paper. They are cheap on paper. The ability is good. So I think probably decent. I think you're not running many vehicles outside that one detachment, though. I don't think you necessarily need them. Whenever people list right, they're like, oh, I need long-range anti-tank. And a lot of the time, you just don't. Look at Custodes. When was the last time they ran long-range anti-tank? I think tanks in Thousand Sons are such a weird one to rank. They don't really go with it. They're there. They do stuff, don't get me wrong. But they don't go with it. Anyway, we got the Predator Annihilator next. So this is similar. If you attack a monster or vehicle with the Thousand Sons Psychic attack, you can reroll the hit and the damage roll. The twin las cannon has twin links, but then everything else doesn't. It's a bit situational. It's fine. It's just fine. 130 points. It's really cheap as well. It doesn't mega synergize with the rest of the army. It's just there, and it gets a little bit better. I'm not playing Thousand Sons to run Predators, you know what I mean? That's why I play it as children. Okay, next up, they did it again. The Chaos Rhino, straight to the top. The Chaos Rhino, move 12, T9, 10 wounds. It's a Rhino, whatever. In your shooting phase, after the smaller shots, let one enemy unit hit by one or more of those attacks until the end of the phase. Each time a friendly model that disembarked from this transport makes a psychic attack that targets that enemy unit, add one to the hit and wound roll. This is Magnus's old ability, but on a Rhino exclusively. Really, really good ability on that guy for just a mere 90 points. You're going to be taking 1 or 2 most games. So, Rhino, straight up there. Auto take. Great unit. Vindicator next. The Vindicator is a Vindicator. It's situational. It's a Vindicator. 185 points, so they're not the cheapest unit to play with. It doesn't have any funky abilities with psychic weapons. It's just got Sea Shield. It's just the same as every other Vindicator. I think they're trying to get rid of him, to be honest. Next up, the Chaos Land Raider. Again, Land Raider, I feel, is very situational. I don't think it's shit. I don't think it's a bad unit. It's just the same as every other Land Raider. You're probably not using it, to be honest. It might even make me put it in trash. Okay, it's got las cannons. Cool. That's it. Is it trash? No, it's fine. I just feel like a lot of the vehicles are going to end up here, so I'm moving this one down. Speaking of, Hellbrute. Hellbrute, the most famous. I'm surprised they still have them, but they were in Space Marine 2, so they had to put them in the Codex. In your shooting phase and the fighting phase, after the smallest shot or thought, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of those attacks. That unit must take a battle shock -1 if it's 1,000 psycho within 9. I don't think these are that good, to be honest. Giving out battle shock test is always bad. I think the Hellbrute is pretty poo. I got 3 of these bad boys. I don't know what I'm never going to use them. I'll never put them in a list, to be honest. I think they're just trash. I don't think you take it. I think you're probably taking all of this over it. Okay, next up, we've got the Forge Fiend coming in at 140 points. The Plasma Boy. You can give out -1 to hit. You can suppress units. Arguably better than a Hellbrute. You can take a Forge Fiend for 30 points more. You get more wounds. You move faster. I'd rather a Forge Fiend. Same with the Mauler Fiend, coming in at 130 points. So again, 20 points more than a Hellbrute. Now, the fact that you can heroically intervene and reroll charges is fine. They just don't fit Thousand Sons very well. The way that the rules are for them, I just don't think they fit. Maybe the Mauler Fiend comes up here, I think. They're all right in the right detachment. They're okay. They're relatively cheap for what they are. Mauler Fiend should be EC, not T-Sons. Yeah, for Emperor's Children, they're really good because they can advance and charge. But this one can't. Okay, next up is the Defiler. So, Overwatch and 4+ is fun. Cannon, Reaper Cannon, Twin Flamer, and then Claws. You can take a Twin Las Cannon or an Inferno Bolter. They're 165 points, so they're on the more expensive end of these vehicles. The problem is only moves 8. On the wrong terrain type, they're not going anywhere. I think I'd rather one of them over maybe a Predator. On the wrong terrain, I think they're awful. On the right terrain, they're great. You go to a GW event, amazing. If you go to a WTC event, awful. But yeah, like a lot of the other units, like the Forge Fiend, the Mauler Fiend, the Land Raider, the Hellbrute don't feel that exciting. At least the Defiler has like a fun ability that makes you consider it, you know? The Dread is actually really good at 110 points. Yeah, floating rerolls and the multi-metal and hammer is good. I'll move the Hellbrute up. Okay, next up, the Helldrake. Yep, you're welcome. Chaos Spawn next. Do we have Spawn in here? We do. The Chaos Spawn are just so cheap. 65 points. It's just a great little unit. The fact that it heals 3 wounds, essentially it goes back up to full wounds at the start of each player's command phase. Excellent. 65 points. Get some actions done. Call it a day. Speaking of the Helldrake, I think it needs to come up in points. It's 215 points, the Helldrake. I think it needs to be more expensive. I think 250. Okay, we're on to the goats now. We're nearly run out. We've only got about 5 units left. The Zangor Shaman. Very cheap. One of the cheapest units in the book. There is another unit that's cheaper. You're not really taking shamans, I don't think, chat. I don't think the shaman's that good. Give +1 to hit, but I don't think you need it if you're taking a Terminator Sorcerer, because he gives everybody +1 to hit. The shaman is giving exclusive that unit +1 to hit. I don't think he's trash. I just think he's not great. I don't think you're taking them very often. I think they're going to be in situational as well. I think he's here with he's altered, right? He's fine. I just don't think you need him, to be honest. I think you have enough sorcerers, right? And this is super objective, by the way. Super, don't forget, this is like up there with like the perfect review. I think you're just taking other sorcerers, and if you've got 55 points spare, maybe you'll take him. But I think I would rather a unit of Tzaangor Enlightened with sticks. So Tzaangor Enlightened are 50 points, or 80 for 6. This one has the Divining Spear, Lance Precision, 3 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 5, -1/2 damage. Okay, hitting on 4's cringe. You could take a Tzaangor Shaman to give them +1 to hit, granted. So maybe a Tzaangor Shaman, not too bad. I think these ones are like strong. I think these ones are strong. I think they're pretty good as just like actions, for actions, you know. I don't think you take Tzaangor Enlightened for combat. I think they're good in combat, but I think you're mostly taking them to do actions that are cheaper than spawn. The unit of this book is definitely the Tzaangor Enlightened with Fate Caster Bows, or Skyfires as they're called in the other game. They have a reactive move, even within 9 you can move D6, but obviously the fact that you can attach an Exalted Sorcerer on disc to give this unit Lone Operative, to give it an enhancement buff. They have Lone Operative 18 and they shoot 30 with precision and lethal. And it's initiative phase, which means you can use the Terminator Source to give them +1 to hit. You've got Destiny Runes in your pocket, so you can give reroll wounds if you want to kill that character, for example. They just snipe characters out so well. They are such a good unit, which is why I've just painted 6. Chat, I've just finished painting. Don't say. Yo, chat, look how pretty they are. Look at them. Whoa, look at that. Damn, son. So they got the reactive move, yeah, so they're just really defensive. So if you do get near them, then they can move out the way. They've got 30-inch range with Lone Op. They're just the best unit in the book. By far, chat. Need to get Tzaangor more of them. I don't think you're really taking 3 units of Skyfires, but I think you're taking 1 or 2. I think you're going to see them in every list. Like, why wouldn't you? Except for the fact that it costs a lot of money to buy. £80 for 80 points of unit. Unless you use my link in the description, you can use my link to Outpost. .co.uk, grab yourself some discount Warhammer. Tzaangor's coming in at only £30 for 3. That's so much cheaper. Grab a bunch of stuff at discount, 20% off pre-orders, and help out the channel at the same time. Anyway, next up, we got more Tzaangor. We got the Tzaangor. They have Scout 6. They have Strat Reserve. Well, they can go to Strat Reserve, the end opponent's turn. They're scouts, essentially. T4, 6+ Invuln, which is nice. You've got the Tzaangor Blades at strength 5, or they've got the Chainsword and Auto Pistol, which is strength 4. Now, this unit is a take a unit and hold an objective at the back a lot of the time. Yeah, I think only the Tzaangor Shaman can attach to them. So it's a bit limiting what you can do with them. In the Warp Meld Pact, what you can do is take a big brick of 120 Tzaangors. 20 Tzaangors. You can take a Tzaangor Shaman on them. You can take any other character on them, because you can actually attach Sorcerers or Infernal Master with them with an upgrade. Start your Tzaangor unit on the board. You can then remove them at the end of your opponent's turn, and then spend 1 CP and deep strike them 6 inches away from your opponent's army. And then you can Temporal Surge that unit, move it D6 towards your opponent's army that your Tzaangor unit now can't charge, but is now move blocking your opponent's army. And turn 2, you can do it again. That is an horrific little combo that you can do with Twisted Mirage, and it's really cheap to do as well. Tzaangor Jail is definitely a thing. I think Tzaangors, in that context, are right up there at S tier. Purely because that is a horrific strat. In that one detachment exclusively, of course. I think Twisted Mirage might be carrying Tzaangor, the Tzaangor unit, right to the top. But that is a horrible ability. Okay, then the final unit for Thousand Sons, because I'm not doing demons because they're not that great. The Mutilate Vortex Beast. I think this is just such a good unit as well. I think this might need nerfing. Yeah, 160 points. You've got a crazy shooting weapon. D6 +3. Strength 9, -2, 2 damage. You've got 1 shot, which is dev wounds. Strength 18, -3. D6 +6. They've got the Mutilating Vortex. Any other movement phase roll, D6 for each enemy within 6. On a 2 to 3, that unit takes a mortal wound. On a 4 to 5, takes D3. On a 6, takes D6. Just for being cool. So they just turn up and drop mortal wounds just by being nearby. It's got an Invuln. It's got Feel No Pain. And he's pretty good in combat with strength 10, -2, 3 damage. Or 15 attacks at strength 7. He's a great unit. He's such a great unit. Even though it wasn't designed to be one, it's just become such an iconic Thousand Sons unit of a big, angry Gribbly. And for 160 points, you're probably taking one at least, maybe two. You could even take three and it wouldn't be too bad. You think, oh, there's no anti-tank? Okay, cool. Take 3 Vortex Beasts and fire those Warp Vortex Beam weapons and see what happens, you know? And memes aside, Helldrake's trash. I don't know why they keep printing it in the book. I don't know why they keep making them. They must have so many Helldrakes in the warehouse that they just keep printing them into codexes, hoping people buy them. Because it's just like, what's the point, bro? But I think that's the tier list. I think I'm pretty happy with that. It is a bit of a goat Mutalith meta. But like I said at the start, I think Thousand Sons, no matter what list you write, the detachment doesn't control the list too much. So every unit in here will work in nearly every detachment. The vehicles are only also low because the Warp Meld... Is it Warp Meld? No, it's not Warp Meld. Warp Dane, Warp Force, Warp Forge! There we go. Warp Forge detachment will make all these vehicles a lot better, which is why they're all sat in situational. But usually you're going to be taking Hellbrutes, Predators, and Sakatar, you know? But I think every other unit works in every detachment. You could take any of these in any detachment. Obviously, Zangor's as well is in S because of one detachment mostly. Zangor Jail is real. I don't think, really, outside of, like, the Helldrake, any unit is specifically bad. The Land Raider is fine. In the Warp Forge Cabal, he's pretty good. Every unit has such potential, which is quite interesting. That's my tier list. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know down in the comments. If anything you don't agree with, let me know. I will say you're wrong though, because this is completely objective and not subjective whatsoever. But otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Check out my other Thousand Sons content, and hopefully I'll catch you next time.